treat for you. I have Jennifer Probst. Did I say your name right?
Yes, you said it perfectly.
Awesome. Well, I am just a big fan of your work, big fan of your books, and cannot wait to just dig in and talk about your newest 2 books and what you have in the hopper that you're currently working on. So excited to have you on the channel. This is New York Times bestselling author of contemporary romance, Jennifer Probst. Jennifer, tell us a little bit about yourself.
Hi, everybody. I'm so happy to be on the show, Erin. I've been dying to be on here. I've loved watching all the old ones and all the fabulous authors that you've interviewed. And of course, you gave me more TBR books. After watching the interviews, I'm like, I have to read this, I have to read that. So let's see. Oh, wow. Okay. I am literally writing my 50th book right now. So there's been 49 books behind.
Congratulations.
Thank you so much. It feels really good, this one. I'm thinking about having like a 50th birthday party for like the book when it comes out, once it's published. And I've been writing pretty much my whole life. I started writing when I was 12 years old, and I wrote my first young adult romance, longhand, before the computer was
longhand. Okay.
Yeah, and then I passed it around to all my friends at middle school. And
that sounds like a really bad idea. Was that a bad idea or a good idea?
It was actually a good idea, because then I wrote the sequel.
Middle schoolers can be rough. They can be really rough.
It's true, but I stuck with my friends who kind of like knew, you know, my inner core, who kind of like knew that that's what I wanted to do. So it was just pretty much my true north ever since I was young. And throughout the years, there's just been so many ups and downs. I think when you're young and you've got a passion like that, especially for something in the creative arts, there's character that's built, because there's a lot of people who will say it's a hobby and you need to get a real job. And there'll be years when, you know, there's no money. You're just kind of like writing weekends, writing nights, writing early mornings, and you're not seeing a penny for it. It's just like the passion and that perseverance that you have to have. But I think it's just such a lovely metaphor for life when you love something and you believe in yourself. I just always figured one day, it didn't matter, even if I had one good reader. So I've been really, really lucky to like have a career where now I'm writing full time. And I get to be working on my 50th book. So it's just been an amazing journey. It really has.
That really is an amazing journey. So my current favorite of yours is Our Italian Summer. And I loved it because I loved Italy so much. And I went when I was, oh my gosh, this will show how old I am, but it was in, you know, high school. I need to go back. I need a trip back. But I loved Italy so much, and I felt like your writing took us to Italy. We could taste the foods, see the sights. You really went through, and I know I listened to a lot of podcasts that you've done, and you talked about how you went to Italy with your family, and that's where the idea from this came from. So you literally took us to Italy with you, and it was so just dreamily written about, I don't think that's a word, but you wrote so dreamy about all of the foods and the sights. And I loved all the characters. I loved all the family dynamic that you hit on, because family is messy. And yes, I actually, if it's okay with you, I'd like to read just a little, one of my favorite parts of the book.
Yeah, I love that.
This is in Our Italian Summer, and I have this pulled up down below for those of you watching, if you guys want to grab it. And what I loved about this is, and I think I discovered this as I hit adulthood and had, you know, teenage kids. I'm like, I think my mom was just doing the best she could. I think we always think our parents have to have everything figured out, and then we realize they're just a hot mess like we are. I loved what you said. You said, we must forgive our mothers for everything they are not. One day you'll understand. And I was like, oh, yes. So, Mom, if you're watching, I'm sorry. I'm so sorry.
Yes. I mean, it's so true, because think about it. You know, the journey with my mom and with my godmother and with my niece really brought to attention that depending on what age you are as a woman, you just look at things so differently. But that mother-daughter relationship, I mean, you know, you're a teenager and then you just resent your mom for, like, I remember my mom could just breathe and it was wrong.
Like, why do you have to breathe like that?
The poor woman could not win. And I knew that. And I think you know, and I think she knew that, but then of course I'm trapped in my ego. When you're young like that, you're just about you. And it has to be that way. And the mom has to really step back and let you kind of like shine. But then like later, you look at your mom and all the mistakes, like you get to the Thanksgiving table, right? And you're like, Mom, you screwed up here and here and here. And the poor mom is like, I know. Because you see them like as this role, but not as a person. And then you step into your own like family, and then it all comes together. Like life just blows me away. Like that whole cycle of life, Lion King. It's just that when you can see that they're these human beings and they make mistakes and they've got their own stuff that they bring to the table. And so to me, to dive into something like that, it is endlessly fascinating. And I
know,
think,
I think back and I think about hard times and I'm like, oh wow, my mom was like 33.
Yeah.
I mean, with 4 kids, come on. She
Oh
needs an award for that itself. And so then I think, why did I expect so much of her? She was basically a kid.
Yeah, I know. But I mean, I guess you shouldn't. It's just kind of like as each of your role. And I don't think what I love about this book so much, I'm so passionate about this book because that Our Italian Summer could not have been written a decade ago because I was a different person a decade ago. Just like some of my older books, you'll see like more of a raw passion and edge that is, I think, a little bit more fine-tuned in my writing now. And that's experience and age and wisdom. And that's what another thing I find fascinating, like work, like a creative's work, it's going to change and morph and grow if you're good because you're kind of allowing all these life's experiences to like make your work rich and you like explore different things. So Our Italian Summer was just, I don't think that I could have known all this stuff like a decade ago or even thought about my mom like that.
So, and then you put out Forever and Cape May, your Sunshine Sisters series. Tell us a little bit about that one.
That one is close to my heart because since I was about 20 years old, I've been traveling to Cape May. Cape May, New Jersey is, you jump on the Garden State Parkway and you go to the end. And it's called Exit Zero. And it's pretty much where the parkway ends. And you're in this beautiful vintage beach town with these gorgeous Victorian houses right by the ocean, very quaint charm. And I'm very passionate about it. It feels like I go home. I love New York and the Hudson Valley where I am. I love Italy. That's another home to me. Cape May is like my third home. It's like as soon as I get and I smell that beach air and I see, you know, the bed and breakfast inns lined up and the families walking, I just feel like I'm at home. So when I was writing the Sunshine Sister series, I thought to myself, I think I want to live in Cape May for 2 years because it takes about a year to 2 years to write a 3-book series. So that was like the first thing. And then I've always wanted a sister. I have only a brother. My friends are like my sisters, but I've been fascinated with the sister dynamics and how how everybody relates different in a family. And then I wanted to write about weddings. I thought weddings and beach weddings. So I basically created these 3 sisters who own a bridal agency in Cape May, New Jersey, and they run all of these weddings, and it's a family-run business. And it was just so much fun to explore. I actually talked to somebody in Cape May who's a wedding planner, and she's able to give me all these fun things, like from disasters to what it's like to have a beach wedding, and it all went into the book. So yeah, so that was the 3rd book in the series, and I've always written all of my books as standalones. So you can literally pick up Forever and Cape May, which is a best friends to lovers romance, and then go to the first one and not feel like it's fun to follow it through, but I really like writing each book as an entryway so you can dive in at any time.
I love that. And I pulled up her newest one, Forever and Cape May, down below for those of you guys tuning in and want to check it out. I'm excited. Now I must read them all. And you even wrote books on writing.
Yes.
So tell us a little bit about that. How was that for you?
Well, I mean, going back to when this really goes back to when I was like 12 years old and creating my first book, there was no internet. There was no writers to talk to. There was nothing. So I was like, okay, I want to be a writer. And so there was this thing called Writer's Digest books in the library. And I would go
I
out
remember
and
those.
yeah, and read these craft books. And literally, I mean, you talk about dating yourself and dating myself now. I use my allowance to get like the Writer's Digest magazine, and I would study it cover to cover, and that's how I learned about writing. And when I did, I thought to myself all those years ago, one day to have that experience in craft and to be writing for all those years, I'd love to give back because I know what it felt like when I would read something and not feel so alone, because writing is such a solitary business. I mean, even today in Zoom and this and that, it's still you alone in a room, like
Yeah.
writing with your demons. I've always said that. It's really you. And so all those years built up. And so it went back to like one New Year's Eve a couple of years ago. I got up and I was ready. I was on deadline for my romance book. And all these passages were pouring out of me for this writing book that I had never written, not under contract. My agent didn't want it. Like, she's like, what are you doing? It's
Like,
just
stop it.
and I was like, it was just the time. It was like the time. So I took those months and I wrote it. I pushed off my other romance novel for a little bit. And we were able to publish it. So there's two. There's Write Naked and there's Write True, which was the follow-up. And it's a very I don't like normal craft books that just like pull in with craft because then I sleep. You know, it's just like too boring. I love the combination of essays from writers who've experienced certain things and know what I'm going through, that combine like a sense of humor, real truth that not a lot of people want to admit. The book is very real. There's a lot of things that I'm like, oh my God, nobody's going to think I'm fabulous after this. Everybody's going to know the truth.
No, real life. Yeah.
It's just real life. And I just really wanted to put it out there. And then the second one came about because the market is changing so fast. And there was just still more that I wanted to pour out. So that is really like my love song and my gift to writers. It means so much to me to be able to share where I've been after like writing 50 books.
50 books. That's amazing. That is amazing. So you have your own love story. I read that you married a little later and you're a boy mom.
Yes.
And
Yes.
how's that? I think you told a funny story about you were glad you waited because then you were just done with like all the dating and you knew what you wanted. So
Yeah.
what has your own love story been like?
Yes, it was very different. You know, I kissed so many frogs in my 20s and then like even my, you know, all the way up to 30. I remember my 30th birthday. I'm actually writing a book where she just turned 30 and she hasn't found anybody. And I'm tapping into all those feelings. Like I came back from my 30th birthday party and I cried all night because I wasn't this big, giant, famous author. I had like really like not like tons of money and this big career, and I had nobody to love in my life. I didn't even have a dog at that point. So it was just one of those, you know, sometimes those decades, like they get you. It's more of like the number than, you know, you take restock. And you know, I started doing like a lot of work on myself, like they do. They say go inside when you're not happy with what's coming in from the outside. And sure enough, I met my husband at a bar, hanging out with my friends one night. And I remember I thought to myself, he was so sweet and so funny and so nice and down to earth. I would have never given him a second look a decade ago. We're talking about time. Like, I just wouldn't because I
Yeah.
was bad boys and like starving artists and like all sorts of unhealthy relationships. That was okay because I had to explore them. But like, here was this one nice guy who sat and we had a good time. And I realized I was like, oh my God, like I'm so happy with him, like the conversation and everything. And it was just so natural. It moved so quickly and so natural, and there wasn't any drama. And so when they say nice guys finish last, it's not true. It's just that I was ready for the nice guys later in life when I can appreciate it because I was tired.
Yes, tired. Yes. It's like enough of these games. Enough. Yeah.
Yes.
And
then
don't you look back at your 30s at 30 and think, gosh, I was such a little grasshopper. And we thought we were in a race. Like we have to have this stuff figured out. And now I'm like, I mean, I think we were just little grasshoppers. We were doing the best we could.
Aaron, and they say like youth is wasted on the young because like I didn't know any of this stuff earlier, but it's all okay. Like it was all, but it was like I met him and I knew he was my person. And I knew he couldn't have been my person before that because I wasn't ready. So when I look back, and then I never wanted children. I never wanted children. That was like kind of like I was just going to be this fabulous career person and like jetting around the world and doing all these wonderful things and having like 18 nieces and nephews and being the cool aunt. And, you know, my husband and I to be like started talking. It's like, well, I want children. I was like, oh, I don't. What are we going to do about this? We had this serious conversation that is really very unromantic and not put in the book a lot. Like, okay, like, you know, what if we have one and this is our expectation and my expectation? And I got pregnant. And when I got pregnant, I was like, it's all going to be okay because it's going to be a girl and I'll know exactly what to do. And then I saw the penis and I said, oh my God, I don't know what I'm going to do. Because in my realm of, I was like, well, if I get pregnant, I'll have a girl and then it will be okay. But I got the boy. And then that was this whole other level. And then I had my first son and my heart exploded. And I was like, I want more kids. I want more boys. I'll have 5 of them if I can.
Oh my God.
You know, you backtrack, and then now I'm reaching like 39, 40 because I started later. And I was like, okay, I'm too tired for 5. I got 2. I got 2. I would have gone for the 3rd. It didn't work out. But like, isn't it weird, Erin, like when you like plot your life, like I was going to do this. And then I ended up on this other path that was so fabulous from like children to marriage to, and I think it's fascinating. And I try to put that all in my books. I really do.
Yep. There was another part of your book I just thought about. And I love too that things are not, I mean, some romance books, and that's cool. They're just happily ever after. They're like tied up nice and tidy with a bow. And then sometimes they're messy. And I love messy. I like the messier, the better. And one of the things, is it okay if I read something else from your book?
Yeah, go ahead, definitely.
One of the things you said in there, and they were talking about Franny becoming a woman and a wife. And one point in the conversation, they said, yes, your father and I both knew we were meant to be married, but our story was different. And then she talks about how, you know, their marriage was, and it wasn't like how others are. I think sometimes people just assume, all right, we all got to get married and have kids. And I remember in high school thinking, I am never having kids. I am an awful kid. Why would I want to make more of this awfulness? And then, you know, we laugh that I have 4 now, and they are just as challenging as I could have imagined. So here we are. But it's messy and beautiful, and that's great. But I love that you really hit on that in your books. They're not like tied up tight with a bow. They unravel in places, and you get to unravel that a little more and dig into that and really see all these dynamics of families. I'm really excited for The Secret Love Letters of Olivia Moretti. I'm really pumped for that because I read up on that one. I think I'm going to link that one down below. I believe I have that one linked too. I'm excited for that one because tell us a little bit about, are you allowed to talk a little bit about that one? And you guys can pre-order that down below. I did pull it up. And if you do pre-order it, what's super cool about that is it'll come right to your Kindle. And on Pub Day, we call her Pub Day, which will be on March 1st, 2022, right?
Yep.
So you guys can pre-order, or it'll be arriving on that day at your door, which is super fun because I always forget that I do that. And then it's like Christmas, right? Open up my Kindle and I'm like,
yeah, I forgot.
Productivity just got really low because I'm going to be binge reading this.
I'm so excited about this book. I have all the feels for this book. This book took me and challenged me in a way that I haven't as a writer. There are, we're doing, it's about 3 sisters. I'll tell you just like a quick, 3 sisters lose their mom and they're packing up the house. They go after the funeral and they're, you know, packing up all their mom's stuff. and they've been estranged for a number of years. And again, it's very interesting that you have three sisters, three different paths, three different people, and you see how breaks can happen in relationships and miscommunications can form and cause really long periods of times of fragments in the family. And as they're packing it up, they're fighting, they're going through their thing, they find this trunk in the mom's closet. And they open it up and they find a stack of love letters, and they find a deed to a house in Positano, Italy. And they're shocked. Can you imagine, like, when we're talking about moms and like we think we know our moms, right? And we know their past and we know, and then you find out that your mom is not anybody that you've ever believed. And this kind of shatters your foundation. So they don't know who this man is. They only know them from there's no name, there's no return addresses. They're just letters written in a trunk. And so they all travel to Positano to find this house and to track down her lover. And it is one of the most beautiful love stories I've written. It takes place when the mom, Olivia, is young and meets him for the first time, and it follows her through, and it intersperses the daughter's stories and their own journey. And it all comes together as they find, they track down this mysterious person, and they find places in their relationship as they're in Positano and having these adventures. It's just like very rich. I'm just over the moon about this book. I can't wait until it's in readers' hands.
Kathy says, what is the title? The title is The Secret Love Letters of Olivia Moretti, and it's pulled up right below our live here, so you can click on it and read about it and pre-order if you want. Super excited. Oh, and Paula says, I need this new book too. I am falling in the book hole. Yes. And Catherine says, Jen is the bomb.
Oh, thank you. Oh. Thank you.
So you moved to places to write books. That's pretty fun. Did you convince your husband to move to Italy yet?
No, that's just not going to happen.
Not going to happen. Okay. Where do you
get
your inspiration from mostly? Is it just come to you? Like, where do you feel like you get the most from?
Life. I tell writers all the time, like, you need to get out of the office. You need to travel. I'm introverted. I make myself go out there and meet people. Even if I'm in a diner and I'm eavesdropping on the conversation behind me, I'm like the biggest people watcher. And so when I travel, I bring so much stuff back, from the people to the culture to the way it is. So it lurks everywhere. I think that's what's so exciting. Like, it's never the inspiration, like where I'm going to find inspiration next or what story is next. I don't know if I'll have enough time by the time I die to write all the books that I wanted to, and how
that's
they move.
That's a good problem to have.
Yeah. Yeah.
What are you currently working on? What's in the hopper for you?
So there's a new 3-book series coming out, Twist of Fate. It's going to be, The Secret Love Letters of Olivia Moretti, that comes in March. And then at the end of April, it's going to be a new 3-book series, the Twist of Fate series. And this is fun because it's about 3 best friends who they forged this. I wanted to write about a female empire. So it's this business called Quench, where it's website and magazine, and it's just for women by women, from health, career, finance, and they're like these multi-moguls. You know what I mean? They're like at the top of their game. And how fate comes, I wanted to investigate how, not coincidence, but how fate will turn us on a different road. You know how you say when you're stuck in traffic, you've heard that, well, it's because you're supposed to be stuck in traffic, because if you were down this road, maybe there was an accident. I'm like, it's very fascinating to me to like dig under how you met this person, but that person like knew this person, and then you end up married to them. Like how fate kind of like steps in and like messes up your life, but then makes it. Each one in the books, there will be like a twist of fate that happens to the character and takes them on a complete journey, and follows it through the end. Yeah. So I'm amazing right now, Erin. I'm on book 2. Book 1 is done and in the hopper. That's coming in late April. I think it's going to be funny and emotional. And now I'm writing the second book. But yeah,
those sound amazing.
Thank you.
Nice.
So the first one is Meant to Be. The title is called Meant to Be.
Yeah. And April 19th, 2022, that comes out.
Yes.
I think. Okay.
Yes.
Awesome.
Yes. So lots
So
of
you guys put that on your list. One thing you guys can do to help Jennifer is you can follow her here on Amazon. Just hit that follow button. If you click on her name in the author section underneath any of the books, and that's highlighted and it comes up and you hit follow, that's just nice because then you know if she has something come out. Nothing makes me sad than when I find an author and then I see like 75 squirrels and I move on, and then later on I find out they have 10 more books and I'm like, 10 more books, I didn't get to read them. So this way you can follow her and know when she puts something out and go ahead and make sure that you have that to read. So
yeah, and there's
that,
a lot on the Amazon page too, like hooked in, like when I do a new blog post and videos and stuff like that. So I do the same thing, Erin. I get so mad when I don't follow on Amazon because I get all the good stuff in my inbox, like so-and-so has a new release or so. So yeah.
yes. And I love that you do series. Like you have so much, because I like don't want it to end. I'm like, I want to know more. So, and I feel like if people really enjoyed Our Italian Summer, they're really going to like The Secret Love Letters of Olivia Moretti. I'm feeling like that's going to have the same vibe.
It's exactly the same vibe. You'll see different vibes, which is really, it's fun because the romance ones, like the Sunshine Sisters series and Meant to Be coming up right now, there's a lot of crossover. It's called like women's fiction, they would say. I mean, that's the term for it, but I'm just very, I don't think there's a term on the way you explore stories, but there's romance and family drama and elements of life in there. But with Our Italian Summer and The Secret Love Letters of Olivia Moretti, it's more about the focus on the relationships. There's romance in there, but it's how the romance kind of connects to the different relationships, and it's got a different feel to it.
What is the hardest part of being an author for you?
That's such a great question. I think it's pretty much right now, I'm in it right now, where I'm struggling with the book because I'm not a plotter. So I only have a loose outline. And I feel like the reader, I have to show up at the page every day to figure out where they're going, to discover layers to the characters. And I can get in my head at certain points where I'm afraid, even though I'm working on my 50th book, it feels like my first. And I don't know if I can do it again. And I think that there's probably a lot of artists, writers, work people out there who feel that way too. You can get really scared. You know, you have to, it's this blind faith also. Show up every day at the page and have this faith that it's going to come. I've done it many times before, but right now I'm waiting to be completely overtaken by the story where I know exactly where I'm going is right. And I can know that my readers are going to get everything that they can from me, the best possible product ever. And right now I'm in a little fear mode. I'm like, this isn't going so well. So it's that struggle to show up every day with that pit in your stomach and put it on the page and have that stamina and trust, if that makes sense.
Absolutely. What is the best part of being an author for you?
Knowing that all of those years of work, hard work and disappointment and just so much emotion, all of those years have come to me that I am able to write full time to support my family on something that I've dreamed on since I was like 7 years old, to reach that dream. It is such a gift. I am telling you every day, even though it's hard, like right now, I wake up and I can't believe that I get to do this. So that's really just from my heart. It really, I take it so seriously, like just every book that I write being like the very best that it can be at that time.
I love that. Do you have any advice for aspiring writers other than to buy your books? The ones on writing.
I always say read voraciously, read in every single genre. That is your education. Writing classes and writing books are so important, but you also need to find your way and your voice. So you take all of it in and then you process it the way only you can write a book. Your voice, your process, you find it. Don't take, even me, I will say that right away. I'm putting everything out there for you, but what I say is not law. That works for me, and I'm trying to help share it. And just believe in yourself. It's a long journey. It may not come like right away, but no matter where you are, writing is always going to be your greatest gift. That's going to give you the joy. Not, it's great to have the money, the fame, and all that. I'm not going to lie to you, but the most purest joy of writing is the actual writing. And when you get this perfect sentence or this perfect book that you hold in your hand, or that one reader that says you made a difference in my life, like that's important. So you don't ever put that to the bottom because you feel like you haven't reached a goal. You just have to keep showing up.
I love that. Oh man, where else can we find you on social media?
Oh, I try to be everywhere. I'm on Instagram. I'm on Facebook. I've got some reader groups. My website is a fabulous place.
It
The other
really is. You do have a great website.
yeah, I always try to put bonus shorts up there too. I'm trying to work on one for Our Italian Summer for my readers out there that have been begging for a check-in with all my characters. I am going to try to get to that, but there's a lot of bonus shorts where you can check in on the characters for free right up on my website. My newsletter has a lot of goodies too. I'm on TikTok, but not too much on TikTok, guys. So don't look for fun videos there yet.
That would be really fun. I feel like you're going to have to tell your husband, we have to go to Italy. I have to make TikToks for the book.
Yes, all of it. Yeah.
So also research.
Reader, I message back, whether you tweet me or message me or email me. It's me responding, not my assistant. I love reader email and contact. So that's a very valid thing. So I would get back to you personally.
Well, that is awesome. Thank you so much for being on the show. I loved your book. Cannot wait to read more. I am already going to download a few more on my Kindle and get to work because it's a great way to escape. I loved all the food. I loved we went on a trip with you. It was great.
Thank you. That was
Sometimes
everything.
we need that solace and refuge in our life and just escape a little bit.
That means a lot. And thank you for having me on the show, Erin. It really means a lot. I love connecting with you and everybody here. And just big gratefulness.
Oh, awesome. Well, thank you so much. Stand by just 1 second. And thank you so much for watching.